No, I said I was done with the politics, right? But AOC just sat up here and said, "Oh, it's time for us to pull up to the South." First of all, you using black lingo. Secondly, the South is the mecca of niggas, okay? The mecca of niggas. You obviously is someone who benefited from DEI because clearly you don't know American history. It went down in the motherfucking South. So you saying it's time for you know what happened to New Yorkers who go to Florida talking shit? Yeah. My thing is, you are in another person's country. I don't give a damn if you was born here. Only one group of people are true American citizens, if y'all want to be technical. I don't care if you born here or not. You are of another ethnic group or whatever country your mama or grandmama come from, and you trying to fight Americans over their corporation or their country. Well, why don't y'all fight y'all dictators and y'all shit? If y'all got all this smoke for the American government, y'all should have this same smoke for the dictators and the people in y'all countries. Y'all are mad because the black Americans is running off of y'all plantation. My thing is, see, this is what we be talking about. Y'all use them people for 70 years. And I say y'all because you are a part of that party. So you gonna take the hit too. Y'all utilize them people for 70 years and ain't do nothing for their community. But y'all, for the past 20 years or 30 years, y'all have dedicated all of y'all time and attention
You keep them poor to keep them voting for them.
to people who migrated to America versus the very same loyal people that have been voting for y'all asses who have actual trauma in America. And you always talk about their trauma. They don't fuck with you. They don't. It's because deep down inside, you know America don't owe your community shit. You know that. That's why you keep on talking about black Americans and Jim Crow, but y'all are the same party who started it. It wasn't the Red Party who started that shit. It was y'all. Did you forget? You're mad because y'all no longer
Well, the colors used to be opposite on the media, but they switched that since Reagan won a second time so big. The media didn't like it.
have the South the way y'all did back in the days with slavery. That's what you're mad about. You're mad because the black Americans
True.
have smelt the coffee. Oh, and also considering what y'all doing, where y'all trying to migrate into black American communities. And like I tell everybody, I don't discriminate, but all this is a Fendi fact. You just got to read and go do your research. Y'all migrate into black American communities because they were the more vulnerable population. You utilize their trauma, their experience in America, and what happened to them dangling that carrot and psychological and mental abuse and emotional abuse to the senior citizens like y'all doing right now by lying, saying that they're going to lose their voting rights when that's not what it is. Y'all are mad because y'all can't roll in random people from all across the world to vote inside of somebody else's country. And for the people who feel some type of way, name one country you could go to and you can get a job or get governmental assistance and not be a citizen. Name one. I'll wait. The comments will be open. I'll wait. Y'all preyed on the black American communities to move y'all communities in. And what y'all trying to do is, and another reason why y'all want the South is because you know the South is the mecca of niggas. And the black people in Alabama and Mississippi and all these other states,
All they're looking at is control, 100% control. Come on, start.
they're not gonna allow y'all to come in and think y'all gonna migrate all of y'all cousins from y'all countries. If you got so much to say, pay them out your damn out your check. If you want them here that bad, pay it out your goddamn check.
Yeah, good luck
These
on
are
that.
not America's kids. This is not America's responsibility. And for all the other people who like to talk trash and all the black people on the internet, how many of y'all lend y'all cousins and aunties and relatives $500 when they short on rent? You don't. But that's what's happening to Americans who pay taxes. Random people from all over the country get to come in, get free Medicaid and all that. And how many times have your black ass got Medicaid? I'm curious. Or food stamps. You probably only got $100. And meanwhile, in Chicago, allegedly, they've been giving them people $3,000 a month. What? Out of your tax dollars. But as I stated, yeah, most of the black Americans in the South own their land. They don't want y'all coming over there passing laws like y'all doing in Chicago. to steal people land so you can build high rises for people from your fucking country. If you got an issue, y'all got listen, my thing is right. Y'all, everybody got somewhere to go back to. If y'all don't like how shit gets done, you have my thing is I would never, as an American, why in the fuck would I go to Puerto Rico to fight with Puerto Ricans? Or Jamaica or any other country and fight with these people over they shit. They don't owe me nothing. Oh, I work and pay taxes. Everywhere you go, you will work and pay taxes. They don't owe me nothing. What? Because I'm born there? No, 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 no. That's not how it works. I can see if it's something detrimental, but y'all are mad because y'all cannot allegedly funnel money through the system no more. Y'all been caught. Y'all just got caught funding the triple K. Having these people march in the streets, do crazy stuff. Coincidentally, ever since he got in a chair, motherfuckers been being found in trees. Fear mongering. Y'all been doing this for years. Fear mongering. Got all these people running rampant and scared. Oh my God, I'm afraid I might be swinging from a tree next. Let me go and vote blue. Coincidentally, I said this the other day. I said, you realize anytime the blue people are in charge, you never see that many motherfucking bodies. But the minute it's somebody who they don't like to be in charge, bodies showing up everywhere. Fear mongering. And I'm glad they cracked that open. The Red Party cracked that shit open. Because the y'all favorite people, allegedly, pretty much, he said it wasn't even alleged. They got caught funding the triple K, sending $3 million for them people to go out there and protest and do all kind of crazy stuff to scare y'all into voting for these people, bro. And my thing is, I can understand people who don't get it, who migrate from other countries, because you're not even American. You don't even know true.
And the Southern Law Poverty Center was funding these hate groups so they could raise lots of money. That's what they were doing.
American history. So I can expect y'all to just not
It's a
know.
boogeyman.
But if you're going to
Hey,
use Jim Crow
John,
and use the black
I'm going to be playing your video plus another one that has a lot more details in it about that issue.
Americans' trauma,
I'm going to wait for a lot more to get on here, at least about 45 minutes or so.
talk real shit. Talk about who founded it. Talk about who created all that. Talk about who started the triple K. Talk about it. Talk about who just got caught funding the triple K. Talk about it. I get sick of politics. It's not even I really don't care. But
Kind of waiting for Colin
like
to get
pull
on
up to
here.
the South, you think them people in the
You're
South
right,
with
they were
all that
covering it
land
up.
want y'all to come
They
down there
still
and
are.
manipulate the laws so that way y'all can steal their land and you can build high rises for your people from your country? The South don't want to hear that shit. The South don't want to hear that shit. No, they don't. You can stay your ass right up there where you at with your cousins and everybody else and all the other people. I don't know what's going on, but then be trying to
It's good to see a lot more of the young waking up.
use this black lingo. Oh, it's time for us to pull up. Girl, please. We had enough with Miss Crockett. I'm sorry, but we had enough of that. I'm
That's
tired of people
okay,
trying to
John.
cosplay this gangster shit. Like you gotta understand that you can't scare no original gangsters like that. We don't know. With all due respect, we don't want to hear that shit. It's time for us to pull up to the South. Like the South gonna say, "Oh, let's run." The South ain't stunting nobody up north. New Yorkers get their ass popped every time they go to the South. With all due respect, like, come on, ain't nobody worried about that. If y'all fought for y'all countries the way y'all are fighting over America, y'all shit will probably be a better space. Y'all people, y'all migrate to America and literally say fuck y'all own country and want to fight with Americans over they shit.
So I went and found info on a video about it, John, and I was kind of chatting back and forth with someone on the thing. And he said, "You better download this now because it's not going to stay here." And he was right. The thing was gone within 45 minutes. A video about that incident. They're taking it down off of YouTube and a lot of platforms. So I had downloaded and I'm going to play it.
Shit, what? And I get it. Some of y'all parents come here and drop y'all at 7 to 8 months. So that way y'all can do shit like this, but it don't work
England seems to be able to get it deleted.
like that. It just don't. And I have so much fatigue from this BS. You know America don't owe y'all or y'all communities nothing. That's why you keep on using black Americans. and then calling them sellouts. Tell me what's a sellout, somebody. You talking about the black people who know how these people are damaging their community, but they not saying nothing because they want to keep their $100,000 and $400,000 checks? You want to talk about the black people who claim to be leaders?
Oh, they get a lot more money than
But
that.
I'm so confused. A sellout? Y'all are mad because the black Americans realized that y'all were only using them for the past 70 years, which is obvious. The lady got up here and literally told y'all how she stole some of the black indigenous Americans' funding and gave it to immigrants, and you mad because
They steal
black
our tax
Americans not,
dollars
I mean,
too.
you mad because they're going conservative? What? You really think that these people owe you something? They feel entitled. That's why they're so mad. These are narcissistic and psychological sick beings. They feel entitled. They don't even feel like they gotta work for your shit. They feel entitled. That's why they bullying y'all, even though they know why y'all not voting for them no more. This why they trying to bully y'all. Child, I'm done with politics. Folks, all I'm gonna say is go do your own research.
John, actually, they've been covering this up a lot longer than you think. I'll show information about this. Stomber's a piece of crap. He's a real piece of crap. He's an Islam and illegals butt kisser. That is absolutely for sure.
Former comedian D.L. Hughley, turned Democrat political activist, has been going around telling young student athletes to, don't go to college where the gerrymandering has taken place in favor of Republicans. You need to leave that school, or you need to just not even consider going to that school at all. You need to just go somewhere else. Oh, you know what? I have problems with that, D.L. Hughley. And the parents of these student athletes should have a problem with you. The Democrats continue to freak out and have an absolute nervous breakdown about this decision because they know that the maps are being redrawn in the southern states. They don't care about they care, but they've already gerrymandered the shit out of every other freaking state. California, are there any freaking Republicans like at all? In New England, there is literally zero Republican representation. It's not even based on color and race because it's mostly white in those areas. They have seats. You do not. They don't care that you don't have seats. They're not going to be like Republicans and try to be nice and say, well, we don't want to do a 10-0 map. We'll give you maybe one couple of 2 seats. They don't do that. When they have power, Democrats wield it and they wield it hard. They don't give you an inch, but you're giving them some of these states are, well, we don't want to do that. We want to give you at least 1 seat. Don't do that, because they do not have the same courtesy towards you. Clearly, look at Massachusetts. Look at these New England states. They have no Republicans, dude. But Republicans are like 43 to 45% of the vote. It don't matter. You don't get no representation. I'm in Colorado. I don't have any representation. Now that Lauren Boebert did whatever the freak she did,
Hey,
I have
Colin.
none. Jeff Hurd.
Colin, like I was saying, I went and found that video, and I was chatting a little bit back and forth with someone else on the video, and they were saying, you better download this now because it's going to disappear. And he was right. It disappeared. They took it down. Anything you can find on it disappeared. So I've got a copy of the guy talking about it. It's about a 16-minute video. I'm going to play it probably around the top of the hour. And you won't believe how bad Stammer is trying to stop this. And that actually this happened a little while ago, and he's trying to cover it up.
Yeah, okay. Those are pretty much Democrats now. Okay.
There's other videos of the incident that the cops confiscated from the people that recorded them. The videos of the actual incident happening and everything that happened afterwards, and the hiding of the knife and everything by the mother. It's all been confiscated.
I have in the Senate, Michael Bennet, nope, Democrat, communist, Marxist. John Hickenlooper, who used to be the mayor of Denver and then went on to be the governor of Colorado, Marxist, crazy, ancient alien ass loser who does nothing for me, Democrat. They don't represent me. I have no representation in the state of Colorado. Dead ass. Okay. Do you think they care? No, they don't. They're just going to keep doing what they do so they can keep their high paying ass jobs. Back to DL Hughley. He is telling these student athletes to just give up on everything you've done. Give up. Let me translate that. Give up on all your dreams. Give up on every single thing you've done from the time you were like 5 years old, starting off in football. Give up your dreams, all the sleepless nights, all the times that you were studying until you had to tape them open to keep them open to study, to keep academic progress up and your athletic progress up. You're trying to make weight. You're struggling. Your family's struggling, trying to make sure you get to all those state championship games. Just everything that you have done, your family sacrificed. Your mom, if you're single, has sacrificed. Single dads, y'all have sacrificed for these kids to make it to the point that they can make something of themselves with their scholarships at these schools or prospective scholarships. DL Hughley is telling you that you need to just throw all that out and just go work at Whataburger, go work at Starbucks, go work at some plumbing company. And not to demean plumbers, we need those. But give up on your NFL dreams. Give up on your NBA dreams. Give up on your basketball, your volleyball, your hockey, your tennis, whatever it is. Give up on those dreams. The schools that have offered you scholarships, don't take them. University of Texas, don't take them. Louisiana, don't take them. Mississippi, don't take them. Alabama, Georgia, just don't go to any of those schools because they're in racially gerrymandered districts because the Republicans are stealing seats. Are you freaking shitting me? After all the seats y'all have gerrymandered out of existence for Republicans, and now you're whining, bitching, moaning, and complaining? You know what, DL Hughley? DL Hughley is not going to pay your damn bills. You lose out on a scholarship because a rich celebrity tells you to for his politics. You go ahead, DL Hughley, pick up the phone and call Shanquavia's mom, and you tell her that her son that she has sacrificed for all of his growing years, you tell Shanquavia's mom that her son cannot be first round, second, third round draft pick for the Tennessee Titans. You go ahead. You make that phone call, asshole. You go ahead. You tell her when she done already went and got her dress picked out. She done already got her nails did, her hair did. Come on now. Please just don't even trip. You know, my people, when y'all get these NFL draft, NBA draft, who is the flashiest people there? Come on now. That whole family is matching suits. Shanquavia's mom then got her updo done. It's got glitter in it. It's greasy. It's shining. Honey, she done got her nails did. She got new earrings. She got new eyelashes. She got new shoes.
Don't worry, we're paying for it.
She got new dress. She got her feet did. She got the best pedicure on the menu. And you gonna tell her to tell her son, never mind, don't worry about it. You're not going to the NFL draft because of Democrats are saying that Republicans are stealing seats? This might be the only opportunity that these kids get to get out of the ghetto. And you're telling them to just give it all up because of your political bullshit. You must be about your rabbit ass mind. Go ahead, DL Hughley. Call Shanquavia's mom and tell her why her son can't go to the NFL.
I wouldn't want to get in an argument with her, that's for sure. All right, here's a little bit on the Massey thing last night.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Massey has lost in a landslide defeat to Ed Gallerine, who is now the Republican candidate for the Trump plus 40 district in Kentucky 4. It's over. One of the most insufferable members of Congress, somebody who has annoyed me till kingdom come, and I'll show you why. Again, this has now been officially called. Decision Desk headquarters has called this decision made tonight at 7:41 p.m., approximately 1 hour after the polls closed. It's over. Thomas Massie can now go onto the speaking circuit for failed libertarians. And let me explain why. This is nothing personal against Thomas Massie, as everybody tries to make this so personal. It has to do with practicality. It has to do with the reality of wanting to win. I want to win. I have a family. I have children. I want the Republican Party to win. I want Trump to win. Thomas Massie doesn't. Let me explain really quickly here why this is a good thing. This is Thomas Massie's Kentucky 4th Congressional District. Trump won it by 40 points. Let me repeat that. Trump won it by nearly 40 points. This is one of the strongest Trump districts in the entire country. Thomas Massie represents it. Yet Thomas Massie refuses to vote with President Trump or for President Trump's administration, their accomplishments, any of their major administration agenda items. Thomas Massie is constantly against. This is something that has been exposed by President Trump himself, by J.D. Vance, by Stephen Miller. It doesn't matter what it is. If Republicans need Thomas Massie on a vote, Thomas Massie will play the Democrat. Thomas Massie votes with Democrats 1 out of every 4 votes. That makes him the most Democrat member of the Republican caucus. He should just man up and switch parties and then try and run in a Trump plus 40 district. He'd never dare. He'd rather go on TV and say that President Trump's administration is the Epstein
administration. Still in with the Epstein class. This is the Epstein administration, and they're attacking me for trying to get these files released.
And again, I'm going to say President Trump has not been accused of anything criminal here.
When you have to be corrected by the fake news corporate media that Donald Trump has sued, Donald Trump settled out of court for like $30 million from ABC News, and you have to be corrected on that. It's pathetic. You're calling Trump's administration the Epstein administration. Stephen Miller taking Thomas Massie to the Woodhouse, explaining exactly what Thomas Massie actually stands for. The architect.
Very important subject.
This is the architect of MAGA. This is the architect of President Trump's policies, right, in the White House. The accomplishments of President Trump in the White House is from Stephen Miller. He never does videos like this. Listen.
This is how Tom Massie betrayed America, betrayed you, and betrayed your children. The single most important issue affecting the future of our country is ending the mass third world invasion of America and reversing that invasion. And on the most important issue, on the most important vote, on the most important bill, on the most important day, Tom Massie sided with every House Democrat, every Senate Democrat, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer against President Trump, against the American people, and against you and your family. When the time came to vote for President Trump's signature border security and immigration enforcement bill, the bill to provide record funding for ICE and Border Patrol and mass deportation, Tom Massie voted no. Tom Massie voted to kill the bill. Tom Massie sided with the House and Senate Democrats over the sovereignty of this republic.
So this is how you get.
Also on voting, he didn't want voter ID and all that crap. He wanted to stop
the results like tonight. Okay, this. And one final thing, J.D. Vance explaining what it's like to work with Thomas Massie.
And Thomas was one of the people I was working closest with it. But that's one thing. Being independent, having your own opinions is one thing. Voting against the party on every single issue, you're eventually going to make too many enemies.
Yep.
And that is the problem that Thomas has had. It's not one issue. It's not 3 or 4 issues. It's that every time that we've needed Thomas for a vote, he has been completely unwilling to provide it.
There you go. And that's what playing politics is. This is what I tried to explain this morning, and everyone lost their mind on me. I don't think I've ever had so many reply guys up in my mentions talking about this post right here that did pretty good numbers, 500,000 views here, 3,000 reposts, but 4,000 comments, and everyone's saying, "Oh, you betrayed us. You betrayed." What are you talking about, bro? I'm posting that clip of J.D. Vance being asked about Thomas Massie, saying Thomas Massie betrays his party. This is the Vice President of the United States, the President of the United States, and then the architect of all MAGA policy, Stephen Miller, saying Thomas Massie cannot be counted on. He votes against us. He votes with Democrats. He is not a Republican. Now, let me be just totally pragmatic here. And by the way, this is the voter totals right now, the projected winner you can see here, not just Decision Desk, but also NBC News. So now multiple people have called it. Again, we are recording right now at the present time, 60% of the voters, the vote casts are in. Thomas Massie is losing by a astonishing almost 10.8 points here. It's probably going, that's probably going to widen, frankly. There's an update right there. 46%, 54%, an absolutely dominant performance. And it's been called now by NBC News, the projected winner here
ended up
at
being a lot
Gallerine.
higher than
I got so much hell for this. I am just explaining to you the pragmatic politics of it. As I said, I don't know Thomas Massie. Everyone tries to make it so damn personal. Everyone has gotten so overly emotional, so effeminate lately. I don't know Thomas Massie. I'm sad that his wife died. I think that's too bad. I feel bad for the guy. All right? I don't know him. I don't talk with him. He's never been on the show. I don't think I've ever met him. So I got nothing personal against him. I got something against a guy who comes from a Trump plus 40 district and won't vote with the president. Because what that is a betrayal of your constituents. So I don't care what you say about AIPAC. I don't care what you say about foreign dollars. I agree with you. Get all foreign money out of American politics. All of it. All of it. Every dollar from Israel, every dollar from Qatar, every dollar from Saudi Arabia, Ukraine, Russia, China. It should all evaporate. Everyone should go to prison that took that money. Take all foreign money out of politics.
He also voted
charge
twice.
Everybody who's taken foreign money under FARA, okay, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey,
that's my stance on it. So if you think I'm being paid or some shill, that's what I believe, all right?
He voted twice to impeach Trump, too. Twice.
This is not about that. Everyone's trying to make it some little niche issue thing. It is about the greater reality of politics. Thomas Massie betrayed his Trump plus 40 district by constantly being a thorn in the president's side, by not backing him. And when you have such thin margins in the House, Thomas Massie literally could have been the spoiler.
Tammy, hang around because I got a good one about that thing that happened that John posted the other day. I'm going to be doing that one.
On every single Trump agenda item, thank God they were able to get it passed, but by much thinner margins. And now you can see Thomas Massie at 100%, 0% chance that Thomas Massie wins. Now, on Polymarket, at Gallerine, 100% President Trump. Dominant. I was under the impression that MAGA was dead. Wait a second. All these smart people told me MAGA's dead. Told me that Trump had no more juice, no more fuel in the tank. Fuel's too expensive, by the way. But no, but sure enough, here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump winning again. Bill Cassidy out. Ken Paxton endorsed. John Cornyn out soon. Thomas Massie out. All of the Indiana state legislators out. The senators, those cucks. The Bush dynasties, the Cheney dynasties, the Pence dynasties, the Romney dynasties, the McCain dynasties are all dead. They're dead. They're done. And now Thomas Massie. Scum.
John, I got one coming up. You're going to want to watch. It's about that guy running in Maine for office. He wanted servicemen being shot, and he was in the service at one time. He's really far left, socialist.
Is gone. And I call him scum because that's what you... Listen, dude, you can never find a Democrat. Find me a Kamala plus 40 district where the Democrat votes a quarter of the time with Republicans. Are you kidding me? That person would be sent to Guantanamo Bay to be, to live forever in a penal colony in Antarctica by the Democrat Party. They would never let that person survive politically. So, horrible Congressman Thomas Massie put out an old endorsement of me, scumbag till the end, and said, and is an old endorsement from Donald Trump years ago. This is Trump, very rare statement here on X. Trump normally only on Truth Social posting, but he has been rage Truth Social posting about Thomas Massie, obviously. And been going hard after everybody who's been in favor of Thomas Massie, going hard after Thomas Massie. This is just the post from today, President Trump. So anyway, let's just say this. Politics is a war zone. Politics is a team sport. In a war, if you don't side with a team, you're going to get slaughtered, okay? So you either join your team and fight with your team or get kicked out, lose, right? Get left in the mud. That's what happens in war. So that's what happened here. Thomas Massie left in the mud where he belongs. Now he can now he can go read the Epstein files, till his live long day, right? And do as many corporate. I look forward to Thomas Massie on The View, because that's what comes next. Whatever, dude. Okay. Again, as I've said, nothing personal against Thomas Massie. All these loud political people, yap, 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 all these people barking, they bark the loudest. They're new here. I've been doing this for 2 decades. All right. So let me tell you a little something. Cold hard truth to all you people popping off.
It's older than I thought.
Politics is war. Don't betray your team in a war. Betray your team in a war, get left in the gutter. All right. This is war. We have to win. And Thomas Massie,
I'd say we have to save America and save the world.
I'm glad that he lost. All right. That's what happens. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. MAGA is strong. See ya.
Well, I just hope it encourages other ones to vote for that SAFE Act so they can get the voter ID stuff and all that kind of stuff. And so that they can't steal elections like they have been. Or fix them.
You'd have to be a straight idiot to support Thomas Massie at this point. One of the biggest left-wing propagandists on X is supporting Thomas Massie. Surprise, surprise. What does that say about Thomas Massie? Let's read some of what Brian says. Thomas Massie is one of the most conservative congressmen in the Republican Party. What would you know about conservatism? What would you know about being a Republican, Brian? All you do is bash us and our president 24/7 on the internet and make horrible, inappropriate jokes, trying to tread the line between threats and sarcasm when it comes to Donald Trump. I don't think you have any room to say who is the most conservative congressman. So let's go on. If you were a Republican and you were voting against him, it's not because your political views, but because you want to protect the Epstein class. Be so effing for real. To all the people endorsing his opponent, thanks for uncovering the fact that you don't support Epstein victims. So here's my take on that. Thomas Massie says that he had all this information, he'd read the files. Why didn't he expose what was really going on if that was the case? Did you guys think logically? Why didn't he just come out with it? Why didn't he list people's names? Why didn't he put forth any effort other than complaining on the internet and trying to get his viral moment for acting like he supported Epstein victims? What did him or Marjorie Taylor Greene do? Because Marjorie Taylor Greene said that she was going to work with the victims to release all those names. Never saw it happen. Thomas Massie, complain. Release the files. What did he do? What did he do to make the situation better? Bueller, anybody wake the F up. If Krasenstein is endorsing a Republican candidate, are they really a Republican or are they just a Democrat with extra steps? Let me know your opinions.
I don't know. All right, John, this is one you're definitely going to watch. This guy's running for the Senate, and he's from Maine.
And it was deleted years ago. Well, Moore is causing more headaches for him in his campaign because there's a recently resurfaced post that appears he's mocking this U.S. soldier that was almost killed in combat. It was a viral video, and he's watching the video. It's from the helmet camera of the military man named Ted Daniels. He's being shot at 4 times by the Taliban, and you have Graham Plattner who's making fun of him and wishing that he had died.
Yeah, so of course he served in the military for a while. He said some positive things about the military in Iraq when he wrote at that time. But when he got back, he had nothing but negative things to say. And then he had PTSD, has a Nazi tattoo, and says he's also in other posts. He's a communist. Now look at this. He says this in this video. This video never gets old. Dumb mother blanker, didn't deserve to live. At least his stupidity and fat A.
Now he's saying that about a fellow serviceman in our military.
Wheezing are available for all future infantrymen to witness and hold in contempt. Poor marksmanship on the Taliban's part is the only reason this mother breather made it home.
Mouth breather.
I'm sorry about that. Mouth breather made it home. He managed to make every possible expletive decision possible when it comes to small unit combat.
Wow.
So this is a guy that is, not just with the Nazi tattoo, but is off his rocker. He has radical views. He has all, by the way, this post was deleted.
And because he's from Maine, he has a shot at becoming a senator in the U.S. Senator, the federal senator.
Beat it, but they were able to re-grab it because nothing on the internet dies. And it just, for someone that's going to be managing the military in a way that they approve the budget and a lot of the military actions.
Unbelievable. All right, this is Philadelphia for you. It's kind of like L.A. It's that bad. This guy's trying to help.
Breakfast sandwich. Here you go, baby.
You can thank China for helping bring in all that fentanyl.
Here, man. Want something to eat?
And drugs.
Hell yeah.
China, Mexico.
The whole jumpsuit. Hell yeah. I got some pants for you. And they fit just nice. Yup.
Okay, Tammy. In a little bit, I'm going to play that one that John sent me, plus the other one I found that's being deleted. Stammer's trying to cover it all up.
No problem at all. Hey, bro. Hell yeah, nice. Bro. Some food, man. Some hot food, bro. Hell yeah, bro. Yo, bro. Something in that bag with me, right? Yes, sir. Something to eat for you, my guy. I'm gonna put it right there for you. Bro. Something to eat, my guy. Nice little breakfast sandwich, bro.
That's what drugs will do to you.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, man. You don't gotta wear that heavy ass.
It's sad to see our country go down that bad. Now, here's something that Trump has done, and the leftists is recognizing it. Here's in D.C.
I'm going to dox myself because I'm moving, but I've lived near Meridian Hill Park in D.C. for almost 2 years now, and the water's never been in the pond there. This has never happened before. I was always too afraid to come here because of the homeless people, but they're all gone. And it seriously looks like Paris. I mean, I've never seen this many people out here. I mean, look, everyone is enjoying it. Everybody. A year ago, Trump said he was going to clean up DC, and he did. It is clean, it's calm, it's quiet, except for the Chipotle down in Navy Yard, apparently this weekend, but I wasn't there for that. The homeless are out. The birds are chirping. The water is in. The ponds. The fountains are working. Thank you, Mr. This is the benefit of having a construction man as your president.
Amen on that. All right, listen to this Iranian guy.
I'm Iranian, yeah. I was born in Iran. Islam was never a choice for Iranians when the Arabs conquered us. If you don't want to convert, you either have to kill you or we're going to charge you jizya. They weren't even allowing us to speak our own language, which was Persian, Farsi. Yeah. They beheaded us, they killed us, they slaughtered us, they raped our women. Not only that, they destroyed our cities, destroyed our libraries, destroyed our religion, destroyed everything that we had built thousands of years before even Islam existed. It happened to many other countries in the Middle East and also in North Africa. They destroyed everything. We used to have like a city like Rome, if not better. When the Muslims came, they destroyed everything. So I just think
13 years ago,
Islam is not compatible with the West.
Yeah. John, what'd you think of that other guy that was laughing and wanting U.S. military to be shot? And he was a former military guy. That sickened me, I tell you. All right, this is someone in London talking about he wants Sharia law to take over. He doesn't care about British culture, even though he's in Britain.
Well, as a Muslim, I would like to see Britain governed by the Sharia. That's not because I want to oppress non-Muslims, but I believe it's far superior to democracy.
Of course they do want to oppress them.
But as we don't have Sharia law,
is better.
We don't have Sharia law in this country. Do you still consider yourself British?
Well, I call myself Muslim, and I don't really identify myself with British values. I'm Muslim first, second, and last.
If you don't identify with British values, then why are you in Britain? If those countries that have
Good
Sharia
point.
law are superior, why don't you stay there? The evidence is clear. Go to those nations in the Middle East where Sharia law has governed it, like Iran.
Yeah.
You see that those places have become held.
There's a chance of winning against Collins.
People are suffering. People
Like
can't
a lot of
create
food.
because they're thinking
Colin,
about survival.
yeah.
A nation that is only thinking about survival
Colin,
and being
that
dominated by
video's
fear
coming
on
up
a
in about
daily
2
basis
videos.
can't produce anything. It can't generate wealth.
I'm going to play
It can't
John's
generate
first.
abundance because the people are so afraid that they can't even go into the faculty of the mind.
Can be called racist. Muslim isn't a particular race anyways.
That creates great things that build nations. These people are clearly lying. They are deceivers. They like what they see in the West. They like what they see in democratic nations. And they want it. They want to steal it. And they want to try and build their way of life on top of it, not knowing that that's the very thing that's going to collapse it. Democratic societies are not built to hold Islamic culture. Islamic culture will always crush it unless we do something about it.
Oh, yeah, that's their intent, actually. All right, they're finding that even not illegals, but migrants that have come into the country, they're legally here. Over 50% of them are also on welfare.
A new study finds most immigrant households in America are on welfare, including legal migrants, which is weird because a rich country can cherry pick the top 0.1% of immigrants, the Elon Musks, Peter Thiels, Alexander Graham Bells, draining the brains, talents, and capital of the world. Instead, we mostly import welfare cases. The numbers come from the Center for Immigration Statistics, who tally by country of origin, finding a low of 19% for Canadian immigrants, which is still too high. It should be 0. Then it escalates fast, hitting 1 in 3 Chinese immigrants, half of Colombians, 2/3 of Mexicans, and over 80% of Afghans, and of course, Somalis. Altogether, 47% of immigrant households use one or more of cash welfare, food stamps, Medicaid, Section 8 housing.
It's because of these NGOs that we're giving money to that welcome them in, then they get them on the welfare programs. It gets passed by Congress people that want to have them as their voting bloc. They get them on the plantation.
Which is nearly double the rate of natives. Not very cherry-picked. Gets worse because millions more take child tax credit, which is $2,200 per year, and earned income tax credit, EITC, which gives migrants up to $8,000 per year. Of course, for illegals, it's much worse. CIS estimates almost 2/3 access traditional welfare. And once they have the anchor baby or open a leering centers, it is off to the races. Summing it up, according to the Federation for American Immigration Reform, illegals alone are draining $150 billion a year, taking 6 times in welfare what they pay in taxes. So how did it get so bad? Before the 1960s, immigration to the U.S. was lean and the quality was high. We banned migrants likely to go on welfare, along with communists, and national quotas favored Northwest Europe. This all changed in the 1965 Hart-Celler Act, which abolished national origins, replaced with family reunification instead of skills. So instead of high-quality migrants, the system shifted to poor countries that have massive families get one in, the whole village is in. This combined with the 1960s welfare state, Lyndon B. Johnson's so-called Great Society, that created $1 trillion magnet that drew in tens of millions of third worlders. So Hart-Celler opened the barn doors. Welfare called the entire world to feast. Annual legal migration went from 200,000 to over 1 million. That's not counting illegals. America's foreign-born population went from
See, he's not even counting the illegals. He's counting the ones that came here legally.
5% in 1969 to 1 in 5 today, 1 in 4 if you count illegals, who now make up 1/3 of welfare cases that were meant for poor Americans. So as next brought to you by The Bitcoin Way, Trump
welfare should be temporary.
Has focused on illegals as he should, but we also need to fix an immigration system that imports 540 welfare cases for every cherry pick. Restricting immigration to Europe and maybe Japan, Korea, and Taiwan is not going to happen anytime soon. But we can do what Japan, Korea, and Taiwan do, which is an immigrant point system. So you do take only the best.
It kept them
All
poor,
three
too.
use a mixture of education, salary, concrete skills.
Because people would do less so they could stay on the welfare. They wouldn't work.
IT finance, investment capital, and a history of starting successful businesses. This eliminates.
And then they could have started some generational wealth for their families.
The welfare cases, it dramatically reduces the criminals,
Yeah,
and it turns
unemployment.
immigrants into
That should
an
be
asset who
temporary,
create
too.
more jobs and pay more taxes than they take. Alas, cherry picking also
far.
reduces the number of migrants. There's only so many cherries in the world, meaning Democrats will fight it tooth and nail, but America cannot be the world's welfare office and still remain a middle-class country. Follow for daily videos. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
All right, this one, next one, before I get to the main ones. This is about the students walking out in protest on the school boards.
Oh, hey, ho, ho, crappy school board decisions have got to go. This is going to tick you off if you're anything like me. So Bothell Washington High School students staged a walkout yesterday in protest against their school board. The school board made a 4-1 decision to remove their only school resource officer. And their reasoning, it's going to tick you off, but the students, they're not having it.
I feel that the decision is like misrepresenting students at Bothell.
It is clear from the large walkout that Officer Garrett Ware is having a profound impact on this community.
He stopped 2 of my friends from overdose. He stopped 2 of my friends from vaping and stopped 1 of my friends from killing themselves.
Students and parents pleaded with school board members to keep Officer Ware in school to no avail. You are correct in saying that you have elected all of us to represent you. But you also elect us to vote our conscience, and you don't all get all of the information.
All right, please, you had your opportunity to speak.
Board member Carson Sanderson continued to say this. It concerns me that we are placing a police officer in a position as a confidant for students, encouraging them to tell him everything that concerns them or worries them when those things can be used against them legally and or others.
Okay.
With the exception
A lot of times it helps them.
of Sandy Hayes, the other 4 board members voted to get rid of the SRO program. They indicated it was not anything personal against Officer Ware, but they used words like
White liberals, women liberals.
like racial, equity, and educational justice in their dialogue before the vote.
If I vote to continue this contract, I'm continuing harm for one group who do not have the choice to opt out of the program.
They're using some reports of colored students feeling unsafe with the officer on campus, but they're not able to provide them.
Unsafe, he was a white guy, sorry.
Of course, there's no substance or proof to their claims. Supposedly, a small group of people are scared because they can't opt out of a school resource officer being present. Are you kidding me? This officer needs to be present for safety concerns. I think there should be one at every public school. As a taxpayer, we fund the administrations like crazy. All the administrators fund some resource officers. We should not be removing them. I don't know if you've seen the news here in Washington State, but like crazy bad things happen at these schools all the time. There's students here at Bothell High School stating that this resource officer has helped them and their friends in amazing ways, and you're taking away a great resource for these kids. How dare the school board? These kids have started a petition. It's circulating. Go to the link in my bio if you want to go sign the petition. I highly encourage you to do so because students are continuing to speak out.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to get on to the one that John sent me and Colin was interested. I'm going to play the one John sent me first. Then I'll play the other one that has a lot more info about it. On the second one, this will grill you. But believe it or not, they've already taken that second one down. So it's a good thing I downloaded it. Someone I was chatting with in the comments back and forth said, download it because they're taking it down everywhere. They're trying to cover this up.
A Sikh man stabbed an 18-year-old university student to death with an 8-inch ceremonial knife after claiming he had been racially abused. After he was stabbed, Mr. Nowak tried to climb a fence to escape. The police were called to the scene but arrested Mr. Nowak after Diwa said that he had been racially abused. So they handcuffed the guy. They handcuffed the guy that got stabbed? Is this real?
This 18-year-old boy called Henry Novak drowned in his own blood while he lay handcuffed and passed out on the street. He was stabbed multiple times by a man called Vikram Digwa, 23, with an 8-inch Sikh ceremonial.
What the fuck?
Henry tries to escape. He climbs a bin, fence, and car. He leaves a trail of blood.
What
a video
the fuck?
taken by Digwa, the Sikh, shows Henry climbing while Digwa comments on the scene. Digwa tells arriving police that Henry had racially assaulted him. He claimed Henry knocked off his turban in a drunken racist attack.
Right, and then he stabbed him a bunch of
Henry
times.
had drank less than the legal limit to go driving.
So that's not even true then. They checked his blood.
The officers on site come and they handcuff Henry, who's bleeding out, believing him the aggressor based on Digwa's accusations. Henry collapses unconscious while handcuffed. So you had this Indian Sikh stab Henry with his religious knife that for some reason these Indians are allowed to carry. When police arrive...
Why do they let him carry the knives? Sikhs are allowed to carry huge knives because of their religion?
Digwa pretends he hadn't stabbed him. He cuts his own face.
This came from John.
And his mother hides the...
Wait, they didn't call an ambulance. Instead, they tried to hide evidence and
more
pretend
on
Henry
this.
had attacked him. Digwa had slashed his own cheek. Prosecution says he knew what he had done and he didn't call an ambulance. Digwa's mother allegedly filmed removing the knife from the scene and taking it to the family home.
No, the cops have confiscated all the films. They've confiscated them all, taken them all. Supposedly it's evidence.
Henry's phone is found in Digwa's pocket. Okay. Sikh religion allows them to carry a blade, which is ironic. Well, that's retarded.
The police, based on that testimony, handcuff Henry while he bleeds out and dies in his own blood.
Well, then
while Digwa accused Henry of racism and pretending that he never stabbed him. This
is
18-year-old
awful. It's just an 8-inch knife, right? That's like this big, right? I mean, that's pretty fucking big.
Now, since they're trying to cover this up, it looks like you might kind of get away with this with a tiny slap on the wrist.
So this is the guy that got stabbed. Just a regular ass guy. Bro, all the Sikhs carry these knives. I mean, like, this is my opinion. I don't think that you should have a religious exemption for carrying a knife. They should be able to carry the knife because anybody can carry the knife. But like, if they have some sort of exclusive privilege that they can carry a knife, but nobody else can, that's retarded. So let me go back. I'll look at this here. 911 call. Digwa's brother was saying, we just been attacked by someone racially. Jurors have now been shown 2 more videos taken in the aftermath. Digwa was
actually the Sikh should be the one that has his knife taken away. Sort of like in America, if you misuse your gun, you should have it taken away, like using it against someone, not in self-defense. That's the only one that should use the right to using a knife.
Was heard saying, no one stabbed you, bro. A second video played to the court. Digwa's father can be heard in saying, he's pretending. Now he's trying to get up and going to leave. Yeah, probably because he got stabbed. How did the wallet end up in his pocket? Why is the mom stealing evidence away from the fucking, the phone. Sorry, it's the phone that ended up in his pocket. And you have this for everybody else. Let me see here.
We begin with breaking news. The government has banned ninja sword.
They don't need to ban ninja swords. They need to ban
Colin, wait until you see my second video.
Because if they don't have ninja swords, they're going to use other swords. They want to ban kitchen knives too. Kitchen knives could be seized from homes under crackdown on dangerous weapons. I think we have a bit of a problem. That is a bit of a problem. Oh my God.
Wait until you see my second video. About to play. Unbelievable. All right. Let me grab the second one. Now this has already been taken down.
This here is the most shameful story I've seen all year. An innocent 18-year-old white boy was walking home in Southampton after spending a night out with friends when he was attacked by a Sikh man who was legally carrying a ceremonial sword. Henry Nowak was stabbed 4 times by Vikram Digwa, which I'm afraid to say isn't surprising.
Now this video has already been scrubbed from the web already.
Every single day in the UK, we hear news of people being stabbed on our streets. But what is so ridiculously shameful about this is after Henry was stabbed 4 times and whilst bleeding to death, and according to the own pathologist who analysed his death, choking on his own blood and suffocating, the police arrested the victim, Henry Nowak, and put him in handcuffs. He then died in handcuffs. All because the murderer claimed he had been racially abused. Yes, you heard that correctly. There is no hyperbole or creative license being used here. This is all information directly from the court reporting as this prosecution for...
Now, you won't believe when this happened. Wait until you hear the date of when this actually happened.
Murder goes on. A white 18-year-old...
And how long they've been trying to cover this up.
...old boy in England was stabbed 4 times by a brown man, and the police arrested the white man and kept him in handcuffs as he bled to death, all because a violent criminal said the victim was racist. To top it all off, the murderer's mother then tried to help her son evade justice, hiding the sword he used to murder this innocent kid, and is now also in court being prosecuted for assisting an offender. Of course, the BBC are saying nothing. Sky News, they're saying nothing. The Guardian, they're refusing to report on this. The entire legacy media establishment is doing their best to bury this story, to try and protect community.
Yes, I downloaded it, and I was told in the comments, people commenting on the video, that it was going to disappear. And it did disappear. It's already gone.
Cohesion and the lie of a successful multicultural society. But you deserve to know the truth. So if you want the news the legacy media won't show you, like and comment under this video for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel as well. Or you can join my Substack to see the content I'm not allowed to post on YouTube by clicking the link down below.
I tried to find this channel later and I couldn't find it. They might have taken the channel.
Below in the description. And now we're going to go into the story. Now, I'm going to try really hard to not get angry here. I've been sat here working this morning for about 45 minutes trying to let my blood pressure and my heart rate go down after reading up.
Take a look at the date on this, May 14th and 26th. Now, wait until you see when the event actually happened, that they've been trying to cover up for a long time. And Starmer's really trying to cover it up. They confiscated all the videos on this.
On this story.
I'm not talking about this guy talking about it. I mean, the actual when it happened, when they recorded her taking the knife out of there and this and that, you know, hiding the knife, and the Sikh family doing stuff, and the mother trying to do stuff, and all that. The video of the kid actually dying.
It just isn't going down. So I apologize if I get a little bit angry and get a little bit sweary during this video, but I think you'll understand why. A university student died after being repeatedly stabbed by a man armed with a Sikh ceremonial sword. Finance student Henry Nowak, 18, was on his way home from a night out when he was allegedly attacked by stranger Vikram Digwa, 23 years old, with the 8-inch Shaystar blade. Digwa was caught on camera saying, "I am a bad man," before the fatal attack. He is now on trial accused of murder alongside his mother, who is accused of assisting an offender. Prosecutors said she went to the scene before running home with the knife to stash it among an arsenal of weapons there. They both deny the charges. Southampton Crown Court heard Mr. Nowak was in the first term studying accountancy and finance at Southampton University when he went for a night out in the city on December the 3rd, 2023, 3 years ago. And we're only just finding out about this now. It was buried by the police, buried by the government, buried by the legacy media. We're only finding out about this story 3 years later because of the court reporting. Thankfully from the Daily Mail. He was out on that night with friends from his football team. The teenager went home at around 11 p.m. having drunk less than the legal limit to drive. We know that because after this man was dead, the police ran a toxicology report on his blood and found that he had hardly drunk anything. Again, he was legally under the limit to drive, so he was not drunk whatsoever, which you'll see is one of the accusations from the murderer against him. Jurors said he was speaking to friends on Snapchat when he came across Digwa. After he was stabbed, Mr. Nowak tried to climb a fence to escape, but Digwa was aggressively pursuing him, leaving a trail of blood. Now, this is all bad enough. This is bad enough. This is a random man who has no rights to be in our country in the first place, murdering an 18-year-old, hopefully to become a really successful young member of this country, hunting him down in the streets with a weapon he was legally allowed to carry. You and I, we walk out around the streets carrying a kitchen knife, we go to jail. Someone who's Sikh is allowed to do it for religious reasons. That is literally two-tier justice. That is literally British people, non-Sikh people, being second-tier citizens in our own damn country. Here's the really, really horrendous thing here that heads need to roll for. Police need to spend decades in jail for this crime. Police were called to the scene, but they arrested the victim after Digwa, the murderer, claimed he had been racially abused. Mr. Nowak was then handcuffed before passing out and dying in the street a short time later. The prosecutor said, put simply, Henry drowned in his own blood, with his lung having been cut out by the knife going 8 centimeters into him. Vikram Digra raises the defense of self-defense. He persisted that Henry perpetrated a drunken racist attack. We've already seen evidence that he wasn't drunk. There's also no evidence whatsoever that he was racist either, as if that would justify a murder. Huh? He says he doesn't recall exactly how the fatal wound came to be inflicted. I'll tell you how it happened. You fucking stabbed him, you animal. No, I haven't looked. Here's the poor man who is dead, 18 years old. Would have made a brilliant citizen in the United Kingdom, no doubt. Taken. Opening the case, the prosecutor told jurors that Mr. Nowak's phone had captured the moment he met Digwa. Vikram Digwa was carrying an extremely large knife in a sheath openly displayed over his clothing. At midnight that night, Henry Nowak was dead. He had been fatally stabbed by Vikram Digwa using that knife, the knife that Vikram Digwa has chosen to carry out on the street. The killing wasn't seen by anyone other than Henry Nowak and Vikram Digwa. The neighbors heard the aftermath as Henry Nowak complained that he'd been stabbed and that he was dying. Tragically, he was right on both accounts. After he'd been stabbed, Henry climbed onto a bin and over a fence to try and escape, but he had already been fatally wounded, and there was a blood trail on the street which demonstrates that he must have been stabbed before he climbed onto the bin and over the fence. Vikram Digwa...
I will also post this, I'll upload this onto Wimpkin and share it.
Digwa chose to aggressively pursue him. The prosecutor said a video of the incident was found on Mr. Nowak's phone, which was discovered in Digwa's pocket. So after he murdered this innocent man, he took it a step further and decided to rob him as well and steal his phone. In the video played to the jury, Mr. Nowak can be heard saying, "Hello, car," and singing to himself before yawning, with the footage then cutting to show Digwa walking away from him. Mr. Nowak is then heard saying, "In it, bad man, what bad man? You're a bad man, say you're a bad man, go on." Digwa replied, "I am a bad man," to which Nowak replied, "Are you a ba?" before the footage cuts off. It's at this point that we believe Digwa murdered Henry. Mr. Lobenberg said the defendant's father and brother went to the scene shortly afterwards along with his mother, who was captured on video footage taking the knife back to their family home. So this murderer's entire family united around their atrocious son and tried to protect him from the police. Once again, mass deportations, remigration is essential. The prosecutor said at the scene, Digwa denied stabbing Mr. Nowak and instead claimed he had been racially abused and attacked by a drunken man. Again, we've already seen evidence he wasn't drunken. We've seen that, well, we heard, we haven't seen the footage, but we've heard from the court that there was literally video footage of the two in the confrontation and no racial remarks were made whatsoever. And this piece of shit still feels it's appropriate to blame the man he stabbed to death 4 times and say it's his fault because he's racist, because he's white. Mr. Lobenberg said, the prosecutor, he didn't seek help for the man he had injured with his sizable knife. Instead, he accused him of being a racist and a drunk. He said police initially handcuffed the dying murder victim, but started to then give him first aid once he collapsed. Mr. Vikram said he hasn't been stabbed. This was a lie. This was a man, Vikram Digwa, stabbed more than once, 4 times. Henry Nowak fell unconscious and police tried to give first aid. A doctor was flown in by helicopter, but there was nothing that could be done to save Henry, and he was pronounced dead at 12:37 on the street. He suffered 4 stab wounds, including 2 in the back of his legs and 1 in his lung. Analysis of the knife found blood and fatty tissue matched to the murder victim, and hairs from Digwa, as well as DNA from Kaur, were on the sheath. Kaur, I believe, is the mother of the murderer. In the UK Sikhs are legally permitted to carry a kirpan knife in public as it is protected under...
Colin, I tried to find that video. Has it been deleted from wherever it was? You say it was sent on Snapchat before he died. Well, that's probably how the mother got it. But what I've seen people commenting is that the cops confiscated all the videos as supposed evidence, but they're not showing any of this.
Religious exemption laws. Now, here's my perspective on this. If it's in your religion that you claim you're allowed to carry a knife and it would be violating your religion if you didn't, that's fine. I'm more than happy for you to carry a knife in someone else's country. But when that carrying of a knife leads to the murder of innocent people in our country, why does your religious right subsume, overtake the rights of ordinary British people to be safe in their homes? Absolutely ludicrous. Digwell was found to have a small kirpan around his neck that fulfilled his religious obligation, and the Shastar blade he carried with him was much larger, around 8 inches. So actually, he didn't have one knife, he had 2, because he's a violent criminal. The prosecutors said, Sikhism obliges male followers of the faith to carry and wear certain items. These include a wooden comb, a metal bangle, and what is called a kirpan, a ceremonial knife. Look, I don't care if it's your religion. It is literally British people being second-class citizens in our own country. If you or I walk down the street with a knife in a sheath hung around our neck, we go to jail. If a Sikh does it, they're allowed. That is literally being a second-class citizen in our own damn country. That's also leading to murders. Mr. Digwell was choosing to carry on the streets of Southampton a very large 21-centimetre bladed knife. What's that? About that big? Easily enough to kill someone. The court heard that following his arrest, Digwell and his brother were transported in a police van and their conversation was recorded. The two chose to talk to each other about presuming they couldn't be heard. He told his brother he stabbed Henry 3 times. He didn't mention any racism or self-defense. Cowra's charge, the mother, is the mum of the defendant. She came to the scene when her husband and sons were there. Her son asked her to take his Shastar, which is the large knife. This was captured on phone footage, which was being shot so it could be heard. It was stashed among an arsenal of weapons at the home. Analysis of the blade showed it had blood and fatty tissue on it. DNA showed it belonged to the murder victim. Hair belonging to Vikram Digwell was also found on the knife. Digwell's barrister claimed he was acting in the heat of the moment in self-defense. The man defending Digwell delivered a short statement to jurors after the prosecution outlined the case. Was victim Digwell carrying a knife or carrying, for legitimate religious purposes, a kirpan dagger for religious purposes? This is literally his defense in court. His defense is literally, it's my religion, I'm allowed to carry this knife, and so what if I fucking stabbed that white kid with it? He deserved to die, he was racist. These are usually from 2 to 9 inches. The blade is 8 inches long, so can still be considered legitimate. So it's legal for them to carry a knife this bloody long in our country if you're a Sikh. Who started this incident? Was it Henry Nowak saying things to Mr. Digwell, or Mr. Digwell saying things to him? The prosecution say there was categorically not a racially motivated attack by Mr. Nowak, but have they made you sure of that with evidence?
That's why you need the Second Amendment there.
My God, this lawyer is the most morally bankrupt man in this entire country. Was there a deliberate intention by Vikram Digwell to inflict really serious harm or kill when he used his kirpan, or was he acting in the heat of the moment in self-defense? May I remind you, this man was stabbed 4 times, not once. He was slashed and stabbed twice on his legs as he was running away from the murderer, trying to climb over a bin and a fucking fence to get away. You will be shocked and upset when you see the state of Henry Nowak and when you hear what's shouted at what is tragically a dying man. But did Digwell and his brother...
How come the cops were handcuffing him when they could see he was bleeding?
...at the time realized they were dealing with a dying man? He just fucking stabbed him, you cunt. Or was their anger generated by someone who was drunk? He literally was not drunk, who had racially attacked them, and they weren't aware of the extent of those injuries. Following Henry's death, his family have campaigned to raise awareness about the impact of knives, saying, "We just want people to know how much damage carrying a knife can cause. This has caused such huge repercussions in so many people's lives," and the trial continues. This is absolutely emblematic of a country in decline, of a country whose elites, whose establishment hate the British working class with a passion, that they allow us to be stabbed in the streets and for the murderers to be defended. Paid for by the taxpayer, mind you. Now, any sane or just country would immediately, after this stabbing 3 years ago, change the law and make it illegal for everyone to carry these weapons, so there are no 2-tier laws. And if these people, if these Sikhs feel it violates their religious beliefs, they can fucking leave. They can go and carry a knife in another country, because them carrying a knife in this country has just led to an 18-year-old innocent man being stabbed to death in the streets. Of course, that won't happen because in the UK, there is a two-tier legal system. There is two-tier justice. And if you happen to be white, the police will always assume the worst of you to the point where they will literally get to a scene, see blood on the floor, two men standing. One says he was racist to me. The other says he stabbed me. And the police's first instinct is to arrest the man who is accused of racism, not the man accused of stabbing someone else. The police will literally let you bleed to death in handcuffs because you were accused of being racist.
Yeah, deport them all. What about the fact that she took the knife and went and hid it and all that? Isn't that a crime?
The truth is, nothing is going to come from this. The media is refusing to report on this. The only article I could find even mentioning what's going on in this court was from the Daily Mail. You go over the BBC's front page headlines? No, nothing. It is utterly, utterly shameful, and it's emblematic of a society in complete and utter decline that we allow criminals to rule over us like this, and we allow the establishment elite who don't have to live with the consequences of these policies forcing us to live under them. I actually looked up the law. A law was put in place by a Labour lord in 2019 in the spate of a lot of knife crime across the UK. A lot of kids were being stabbed to death in the UK. And so a law came in, making it more illegal with harsher sentences to carry a knife in the UK. This Labour lord implemented into that law a special caveat for Sikh people only, ensuring they can continue to carry their knife.
See, the Labour Party put that in there so that Sikh could have the knife and no one else could.
Without being accosted by the police for walking around with dangerous weapons. That Labour lord doesn't have to suffer under the same consequences of his actions that you and I do. He lives in a great big multi-million-pound fuck-off mansion, probably in the countryside where there is no ethnic diversity, where there is no multicultural.
Tammy, they're told to take the one side all the time anyways. And a lot of them probably are foreigners anyways, they're the cops.
To stab his children to death.
Or white liberals.
But you and I don't have that privilege. We're the ones who have to live with the consequences that are thrust upon us by the establishment elite. I don't really know what else to say. If you want the news the legacy media won't show you, like and comment under this video for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel as well, or you can join my Substack to see the content I'm not allowed to post on YouTube by clicking the button.
Yeah, that's true about the 3-year-old. In fact, there's rape gangs over there and they seem to do almost nothing about it.
On screen now. My mission with this channel is to...
It's their culture. Now, I'm going to rewind this. I know I was talking during it. I'm not sure exactly where. I'm going to go back to about 40 seconds, and I'm going to play about 5 minutes of it, okay? I'm going to replay it because I know I was talking over it. I didn't mute my mic when my brother was here.
Henry Nowak, and put him in handcuffs. He then died in handcuffs, all because the murderer claimed he had been racially abused. Yes, you heard that correctly. There is no hyperbole or creative license being used here. This is all information directly from the court reporting as this prosecution for murder goes on. A white 18-year-old boy in England was stabbed 4 times by a brown man, and the police arrested the white man and kept him in handcuffs as he bled to death, all because a violent criminal said the victim was racist. To top it all off, the murderer's mother then tried to help her son evade justice, hiding the sword he used to murder this innocent kid, and is now also in court being prosecuted for assisting an offender. Of course, the BBC are saying nothing. Sky News, they're saying nothing. The Guardian, they're refusing to report on this. The entire legacy media establishment is doing their best to bury this story, to try and protect community cohesion and the lie of a successful multicultural society. But you deserve to know the truth. So if you want the news the legacy media won't show you, like and comment under this video for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel as well. Or you can join my Substack to see the content I'm not allowed to post on YouTube by clicking the link down below in the description. And now we're going to go into the story. Now, I'm going to try really hard to not get angry here. I've been sat here working this morning for about 45 minutes trying to let my blood pressure and my heart rate go down after reading up on this story. And it just isn't going down. So I apologize if I get a little bit angry and get a little bit sweary during this video, but I think you'll understand why. A university student died after being repeatedly stabbed by a man armed with a Sikh ceremonial sword. Finance student Henry Nowak, 18, was on his way home from a night out when he was allegedly attacked by stranger Vikram Digwa 23 years old, with the 8-inch Shaystar blade. Digwa was caught on camera saying, "I'm a bad man," before the fatal attack. He is now on trial accused of murder alongside his mother, who is accused of assisting an offender. Prosecutors said she went to the scene before running home with the knife to stash it among an arsenal of weapons there. They both denied the charges. Southampton Crown Court heard Mr. Nowak was in the first term studying accountancy and finance at Southampton University when he went for a night out in the city on December the 3rd, 2023, 3 years ago. And we're only just finding out about this now. It was buried by the police, buried by the government, buried by the legacy media. We're only finding out about this story 3 years later because of the court reporting, thankfully from the Daily Mail. He was out on that night with friends from his football team. The teenager went home at around 11 p.m. having drunk less than the legal limit to drive. We know that because after this man was dead, the police ran a toxicology report on his blood and found that he had hardly drunk anything. Again, he was legally under the limit to drive, so he was not drunk whatsoever, which you'll see is one of the accusations from the murderer against him. Jurors said he was speaking to friends on Snapchat when he came across Digwa. After he was stabbed, Mr. Nowak tried to climb a fence to escape, but Digwa was aggressively pursuing him, leaving a trail of blood. Now, this is all bad enough. This is bad enough. This is a random man who has no rights to be in our country in the first place, murdering an 18-year-old, hopefully to become a really successful young member of this country. Hunting him down in the streets with a weapon he was legally allowed to carry. You and I, we walk out around the streets carrying a kitchen knife, we go to jail. Someone who's Sikh is allowed to do it for religious reasons. That is literally two-tier justice. That is literally British people, non-Sikh people, being second-tier citizens in our own damn country. Here's the really, really horrendous thing here that heads need to roll for. Police need to spend decades in jail for this crime. Police were called to the scene, but they arrested the victim after Digwa, the murderer, claimed he had been racially abused. Mr. Nowak was then handcuffed before passing out and dying in the street a short time later. The prosecutor said, put simply, Henry drowned in his own blood, with his lung having been cut out by the knife going 8 centimeters into him. Vikram Digwa raises the defense of self-defense. He persisted that Henry perpetrated a drunken racist attack. We've already seen evidence that he wasn't drunk. There's also no evidence whatsoever that he was racist either, as if that would justify a murder. He says he doesn't recall exactly how the fatal wound came to be inflicted. I'll tell you how it happened. You fucking stabbed him, you animal. Here's the poor man who is dead, 18 years old. Would have made a brilliant citizen in the United Kingdom, no doubt. Taken. Opening the case, the prosecutor told jurors that Mr. Nowak's phone had captured the moment he met Digwa. Vikram Digwa was carrying an extremely large knife in a sheath openly displayed over his clothing. At midnight that night, Henry Nowak was dead. He had been fatally stabbed by Vikram Digwa using that knife, the knife that Vikram Digwa has chosen to carry out on the street. The killing wasn't seen by anyone other than Henry Nowak and Vikram Digwa. The neighbors heard the aftermath as Henry Nowak complained that he'd been stabbed and that he was dying. Tragically, he was right on both accounts. After he'd been stabbed, Henry climbed onto a bin and over a fence to try and escape, but he had already been fatally wounded and there was a blood trail on the street which demonstrates that he must have been stabbed before he climbed onto the bin and over the fence. Vikram Digwa chose to aggressively pursue him. The prosecutor said a video of the incident was found on Mr. Nowak's phone, which was discovered in Digwa's pocket. So after he murdered this innocent man, he took it a step further and decided to rob him as well and steal his phone. In the video played to the jury, Mr. Nowak can be heard saying, "Hello, car," and singing to himself before yawning, with the footage then cutting to show Digwa walking away from him. Mr. Nowak is then heard saying, "In it, bad man, what bad man? You're a bad man, say you're a bad man, go on." Digwa replied, "I am a bad man," to which Nowak replied, "Are you a ba?" before the footage cuts off. It's at this point that we believe Digwa murdered Henry. Mr. Lobenberg said the defendant's father and brother went.
Now you can't, they've taken all those videos. The cops have taken all those videos. It can't be found, people said.
To the scene shortly afterwards, along with his mother, who was captured on-foot video footage taking the knife back to their family home. So this murderer's entire family united around their atrocious son and tried to protect him from the police. Once again, mass deportations, remigration is essential. The prosecutor said at the scene, Digwa denied stabbing Mr. Nowak and instead claimed he had been racially abused and attacked by a drunken man. Again, we've already seen evidence he wasn't drunken. We've seen that, well, we heard, we haven't seen the footage, but we've heard.
Is that sort of like the Muslim religion where they can lie legally? That's okay to lie?
From the court that there was literally video footage of the two in the confrontation and no racial remarks were made whatsoever. And this piece of shit still feels it's appropriate to blame the man he stabbed to death 4 times and say it's his fault because he's racist, because he's white. Mr. Lobenberg said, the prosecutor, he didn't seek help for the man he had injured with his sizable knife. Instead, he accused him of being a racist and a drunk. He said police initially handcuffed the dying murder victim, but started to then give him first aid once he collapsed. Mr. Vikram said he hasn't been stabbed. This was a lie. This was a man, Vikram Dagwa, stabbed more than once, 4 times. Henry Nowak fell unconscious and police tried to give first aid. A doctor was flown in by helicopter, but there was nothing that could be done to save Henry, and he was pronounced dead at 12:37 on the street. He suffered 4 stab wounds, including 2 in the back of his legs and 1 in his lung. Analysis of the knife found blood and fatty tissue matched to the murder victim, and hairs from Digwa, as well as DNA from Kaur, were on the sheath. Kaur, I believe, is the mother of the murderer. In the UK Sikhs are legally permitted to carry a kirpan knife in public as it is protected under religious exemption laws. Now, here's my perspective on this. If it's in your religion that you claim you're allowed to carry a knife and it would be violating your religion if you didn't, that's fine. I'm more than happy for you to carry a knife in someone else's country. But when that carrying of a knife leads to the murder of innocent people in our country, why does your religious right subsume, overtake the rights of ordinary British people to be safe in their homes? Absolutely ludicrous. Digwa was found to have a small kirpan around his neck that fulfilled his religious obligation, and the Shastar blade he carried with him was much larger, around 8 inches. So actually, he didn't have 1 knife, he had 2, because he's a violent criminal. The prosecutors said, Sikhism obliges male followers of the faith to carry and wear certain items. These include a wooden comb, a metal bangle, and what is called a kirpan, a ceremonial knife. Look, I don't care if it's your religion. It is literally British people being second-class citizens in our own country. If you were wrong...
And the Labour Party changed it so regular people couldn't carry knives, but they can, legally.
I walk down the street with a knife in a sheath hung around...
If he at least had something to self-defend himself, maybe.
...our neck, we go to jail. If a Sikh does it, they're allowed. That is literally being a second-class citizen in our own damn country. That's also leading to murders. Mr. Digwa was choosing to carry on the streets of Southampton a very large 21-centimetre bladed knife. What's that? About that big? Easily enough to kill someone. The court heard that following his arrest, Digwa and his brother were transported in a police van and their conversation was recorded. The two chose to talk to each other about presuming they couldn't be heard. He told his brother he stabbed Henry 3 times. He didn't mention any racism or self-defense. Kaur's charge, the mother, is the mum of the defendant. She came to the scene when her husband and sons were there. Her son asked her to take his Shastar, which is the large knife. This was captured on phone footage, which was being shot so it could be heard. It was stashed among an arsenal of weapons at the home. Analysis of the blade showed it had blood and fatty tissue on it. DNA showed it belonged to the murder victim. Hair belonging to Vikram Digwa was also found on the knife. Digwa's barrister claimed he was acting in the heat of the moment in self-defense. The man defending Digwa delivered a short statement to jurors after the prosecution outlined the case. Was victim Digwa...
Never let them take the Second Amendment away here in America. If they change the Supreme Court, they might.
...carrying a knife or carrying, for legitimate religious purposes, a kirpan dagger for religious purposes.
Well, this guy had an 8-inch one, John.
This is literally his defense in court. His defense is literally, it's my religion, I'm allowed to carry this knife, and so what if I fucking stabbed that white kid with it? He deserved to die, he was racist. These are usually from 2 to 9 inches. The blade is 8 inches long, so can still be considered legitimate. So it's legal for them to carry a knife this bloody long in our country if you're a Sikh. Who started this incident? Was it Henry Nowak saying things to Mr. Digra, or Mr. Digra saying things to him? The prosecution say there was categorically not a racially motivated attack by Mr. Nowak, but have they made you sure of that with evidence? My God, this lawyer is the most morally bankrupt man in this entire country. Was there a deliberate intention by Vikram Digra to inflict really serious harm or kill when he used his kirpan, or was he acting in the heat of the moment in self-defense? May I remind you, this man was stabbed 4 times, not once. He was slashed and stabbed twice on his legs as he was running away from the murderer, trying to climb over a bin and a fucking fence to get away. You will be shocked and upset when you see the state of Henry Nowak. And when you hear what's shouted,
I guarantee you, if the guy had a knife on him for self-defense and used it, he'd be going to, or even had one, he'd be going to jail if he had lived. He would have been going to jail for a long time in England.
What is tragically a dying man. But did Digra and his brother at the time realize they were dealing with a dying man? He just fucking stabbed him, you cunt. Or was there anger generated by someone who was drunk? He literally was not drunk, who had racially attacked them, and they weren't aware of the extent of those injuries. Following Henry's death, his family have campaigned to raise awareness about the impact of knives, saying, "We just want people to know how much damage carrying a knife can cause."
Yeah, the one that did the killing was the racist.
This has caused such huge repercussions in so many people's lives, and the trial continues.
Hey, Joe.
This is absolutely emblematic of a country in decline, of a country whose elites, whose establishment hate the British working class with a passion, that they allow us to be stabbed in the streets and for the murderers to be defended, paid for by the taxpayer, mind you. Now, any sane or just country would immediately, after this stabbing 3 years ago, change the law and make it illegal for everyone to carry these weapons, so there are no 2-tier laws. And if these people, if these Sikhs feel it violates their religious beliefs, they can fucking leave. They can go and carry a knife in another country.
I'm with him on that.
Because them carrying a knife in this country has just led to an 18-year-old innocent man being stabbed to death in the streets.
And it sounds like by the way the trial's going, this guy's going to get off.
Of course that won't happen, because in the UK, there is a 2-tier legal system. There is 2-tier justice. And if you happen to be white, the police will always assume the worst of you, to the point where they will literally get to a scene, see blood on the floor, 2 men standing, one says he was racist to me, the other says he stabbed me, and the police's first instinct is to arrest the man who is accused of racism, not the man accused of stabbing someone else. The police will literally let you bleed to death in handcuffs because you were accused of being racist. The truth is, nothing is going to come from this. The media is refusing to report on this. The only article I could find even mentioning what's going on in this court was from the Daily Mail. You go over the BBC's front page headlines? No, nothing. It is utterly, utterly shameful, and it's emblematic of a society in complete and utter decline that we allow criminals to rule over us like this, and we allow the establishment elite, who don't have to live with the consequences of these policies, forcing us to live under them. I actually looked up the law. A law was put in place by a Labour lord in 2019 in the spate of a lot of knife crime across the UK. A lot of kids were being stabbed to death in the UK. And so a law came in, making it more illegal with harsher sentences to carry a knife in the UK. This Labour lord implemented into that law a special caveat for Sikh people only, ensuring they can continue to carry their knives without being accosted by the police for walking around with dangerous weapons. That Labour lord doesn't have to suffer under the same consequences of his actions that you and I do. He lives in a great big multi-million-pound fuck-off mansion, probably in the countryside where there is no ethnic diversity, where there is no multiculturalism to stab his children to death. But you and I don't have that privilege. We're the ones who have to live with the consequences that are thrust upon us by the establishment elite. I don't really know what else to say. If you want the news the legacy media won't show you, like and comment under this video for the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel as well.
Okay. I know I had to play part of it twice. I'm sorry my brother showed up. I don't know. Thanks. I got to thank John for putting me onto this topic. I had a hard time finding any info about this. It's all been scrubbed. And when I did get to the video, the person, some of the people on there that discussing say, hey, grab this while you can because it's going to be deleted. So I'm going to upload this to Wimpkin afterward, just that video, standalone video by itself. So in any case, I just want to put that out there. All right, now this is Hamas in Gaza. They had some people that they of their own people in Gaza that they thought weren't towing the line, so they executed them. A little bit of graphic warning here. Here we go. They thought they were snitches or something, so they just execute them. France, yeah. There was some people that tried to stand up and get Hamas out of there, their own people. All the snack bar. All the snack bar, I tell you. Here's the manifesto uncovered about the shooters at that mosque.
So in a major development regarding the recent shooting that targeted the San Diego mosque in California, we have now learned that the shooters actually live streamed and recorded them carrying out this atrocity. Now, this video will contain, no graphic video footage. There is a lot more to show aside from this video, but it, again, is far too graphic. So I would never do that. Just some updates. Both of the shooters have been identified as 17-year-old Kane Clark and 18-year-old Caleb Velasquez. And according to reports, they actually met online. So it appears to be that they were not necessarily friends before this attack, or maybe they were, but they became friends through what appears to be a process of radicalization. Also, according to some of the reporting, it is being said that, according to what has been uncovered, including a manifesto, that they had a lot of hatred that was aimed and targeted at a lot of groups. From the video footage, we can see that there are inscriptions on the weapons, all up and down the barrel, as well as on other parts of the gun. These are almost certainly inscriptions that target certain people. We assume there's a lot of anti-Islamic writing on there. Again, the manifesto was uncovered, and according to the FBI, the investigators are saying that the manifesto included an idea, hinted at the fact that these two young men had an ideology that carried a lot of hatred towards a lot of groups of people, not only Muslims. Now, does that take away from the fact that these two young men went and killed Muslims? Absolutely not. But it appears to be, at least according to the reporting, that these two young men were very sick ideologically and were very probably supremacist. So when we combine the FBI and investigators' claims that the uncovered manifesto kind of expressed a lot of hate for different groups of people, as well as an alleged suicide note that one of the gunmen left behind that expressed elements or beliefs of racial superiority and racial pride, along with this gas can that was found with an SS symbol, which is really a neo-Nazi white supremacist symbol, it appears to be the case that, again, very radicalized young men, probably white supremacist ideology or fueled by a sense of white supremacy. And in this case, they chose to use that ideology to take their extremism and hatred out on Muslims praying at a mosque. So this is probably more in line with a white supremacist ideology, at least according to the reporting that we have. So that type of extremist ideology that, again, appears to have carried a lot of hate, expressed a lot of hate for different groups.
Turns out like they were trans. That's what it was. They were trans. That's why it was like that. I don't get it. Anyways, let me move on.
The storming of mosques by violent madmen cannot be excused, but it's a two-way street. The burning of our civilization also cannot be excused. In France, it has been estimated by the Observatory of Religious Heritage that one Christian church is burned or destroyed every 2 weeks. 2/3 of church fires are the result of arson. Pair this with the rate of mosques being erected, one mosque every 15 days in France. So while Christian churches are suddenly burning down, having survived centuries of war and neglect at times, with the rise of the Muslim population comes a mysterious spike in churches burning down due to arson. England is seeing the same thing. Churches suddenly ablaze for suspicious reasons. While a good portion of these churches are also disappearing due to neglect, the arson headlines are booming. The trend is hard to ignore. It's part of a larger anti-Christian hate crime spree in Europe. In 2024, 94 arson attacks were documented on churches. This was double the prior year. Double. Many incidents remain unsolved. Whether we know how or why Christian churches are disappearing at a sudden and disproportionate rate across Europe, one fact remains undisputed. Christian churches are disappearing and Islamic construction is dominating, often with public funding or private investment in the same cities. Look at the numbers. Focus on France. Let's just go back to them for a second. In France, more mosques and Muslim prayer spaces have been built in the past 30 years than Catholic churches in the entire previous century. And who will be left to fight this invasion? Not the French. Native birth rates are plummeting to all-time lows for the French native population. And meanwhile, mass Muslim migration and outrageous fertility rates among Muslims project disaster. Islam is now the second largest religion in France. The adult Muslim population has grown from 0.5% in 1985 to 7% in 2025. Meanwhile, Catholicism in this same period saw a stunning decline, going from 83% of the population being Catholic in 1985 down to 43% in 2025. People with no religious
We're boarding all our kids for one.
affiliation whatsoever rose from 13% to nearly 40%. The same report found that 80% of French Muslims describe themselves as religious. Compare that to only 40% of Catholics. Europe's response has been accommodation. Fewer crosses, more minarets. Dare to speak out against the rise of Islam and its offensive non-assimilation in your country, and officials frame concerns as intolerance. Just last week, we learned about how an 18-year-old college student in the UK was stabbed by a Muslim man in December. And as the student lay bleeding, the police arrested not the stabber, but they arrested the victim. The victim died as police were handcuffing him for the awful possibility that he was being racist or possibly anti-Muslim. If todos were people. But it's not just Westerners or Christians who are under attack. Islam is an equal opportunity destroyer. Look at Japan, a nation with a minuscule Muslim population, roughly 0.3% of practicing Muslims in Japan. In 2026, Japan also saw a sudden rise in suspicious burnings of historic Shinto shrines and temples. The 1,200-year-old Urufushine shrine destroyed by fire that locals say was intentional. This will be the 8th historic shrine or temple burned down since 2026 alone. 8. Every one of these temples survived decades, centuries of civil war, world war, nuclear bombs. Just months after the Japanese government tightened immigration enforcement against Muslims, refused to allow construction of a Muslim graveyard, blocked construction of mosques, and locals put an end to Muslim public prayer, in response, you seem to have shrines and temples just burning down under suspicious circumstances. I didn't even share with you how Muslim migrants were caught vandalizing Japanese shrines while declaring Allah is the only God. At least Japan is putting up a fight. In Buffalo, New York, the historic St. Anne's Catholic Church, closed for years due to costs and declining attendance, was sold for $250,000 to a Muslim group and is being converted into a mosque. Similar conversions have occurred in Syracuse and other upstate New York sites, as well as scattered U.S. and Canadian examples. They can't be sold to the Muslims, though. We're seeing churches destined for fire. Over 100 churches have burned to the ground in Canada last year alone. Lamestream media refuses to do any kind of deep dive here. It's more convenient to ignore these fires or simply write it off as bad luck and coincidence.
Sperm counts are down.
Not only will they tell you
that happened because of the jab, useless.
Your face that they will burn down our churches and places of non-Muslim worship, but they'll take over City Hall. Demand your children not sing or draw in school lest it offend Sharia sensibilities. They'll bully you for walking your dog on the sidewalk and demand women cover themselves even if they're not Muslim. We can't let our culture burn at the hands of invaders and keep wondering if it's intentional.
That's what they want. Colin and Tammy and Marianne and all that. I uploaded that link, or I uploaded the video, and I shared the link on Wimpkin to you of that video. You can watch it later. So that way you have a copy of it. So in any case.
All right, good evening. My name is retired Lieutenant Colonel Larry Brock, and I've served this nation for 29 years, 13 as an A-10 Warthog pilot, 4 as a reconnaissance pilot, and I lived under Sharia in Saudi Arabia for 7 years, where I provided information to the U.S. government. In short, I have fought Islam and the jihad my entire adult life. I've studied military history extensively. Many of you may not know this, but the SS also had a worldview. They believed that God gave the Germans the world to rule, and they also gave them a leader. Islam believes the exact same thing. The world is theirs to rule, and they were given the Prophet Muhammad. During World War II, we would not have allowed the SS to build a recruiting center and supply and weapons depot, nor should we allow Islam to build the same here in the United States. How do I know they will do it? I've seen it too many times in my time in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, I fully understand that many of you believe that this building of a mosque is protected by the First Amendment. I believe if you approve this mosque, you're putting yourself, the council, and the city at risk of violating 18 U.S.C. 2339A and 2339B by aiding and abetting a terrorist organization and providing them material support. Just this past weekend, we learned that Mark Hill, a mayoral candidate, is backed by Faisal Syed, who is a leader of the terrorist organization CARE. Are you absolutely certain that no financial money came to purchase this land or involved in the construction of this mosque came from CARE or the Muslim Brotherhood, which our governor has designated as terrorist organizations? Even if you were certain, I would ask all of you to consider whether you want your wives and daughters to be forced to wear burqas. If you want your daughters subject to Muslim grooming and rape gangs. This is the fruit of Islam. This is the result of putting mosques in Christian cities. Are you willing to stand up to this political hostile ideology and say to them, there is a price we will not pay. There is a point beyond which you must not go. Great forces are on the move here. And with this decision, you will decide whether or not Frisco will be remembered as the city that stood up and turned the tide on the Muslim invasion, or will you choose the path of appeasement and pass to other Americans the honor of firing the first volley against this religion? Now, I truly want, and I believe you do as well, to see this issue solved with ballots and not bullets. You must vote down this mosque. This is a vote that will define your time on this city council. All right. I am hopeful that you will use this opportunity to strike a blow for our faith, for our nation against this enemy ideology that wishes to see our republic destroyed, our churches burned, our mothers, wives, and daughters enslaved, and to see the light of freedom extinguished by Mohammedan darkness. God bless you.
Yep. All right. Now they got our youth chanting this. They want to get rid of USA. Watch this.
Hamas here! We support Hamas here! New York City, you will see! New York City, you will see! Palestine will be free! Palestine will
country that welcomed them in, the country that gave them the opportunities that their shithole countries never did. USA, the country that gave them rights and liberty and freedom that they never had in their shithole country. USA, go to hell. God bless Hamas. God bless Gaza. God bless the Middle East and all that bullshit. When you leave your shithole country and you come to the United States and you don't even want to assimilate, but on top of that, you hate the United States and you affiliate yourself with a terrorist group like Hamas. If this is not a deportationable offense, I don't know what is. These people, if they are naturalized citizens, they should have their citizenship revoked and they should be sent back home to whatever shithole country they are coming from. Because when you come to the United States as an immigrant and you get naturalized, you're supposed to pledge allegiance to the United States. You are supposed to leave everything behind and love this country and pledge allegiance to this country and assimilate to this country. Amen. And if you still support a terrorist group like Hamas, you have absolutely no business being here in the United States. And if you're here as an American citizen because once upon a time you are an immigrant, you should lose that immigration benefit. You should be denaturalized and you should be sent back home to your shithole country that you came from.
Amen on that. Now this is Trump took out a bunch of them that were executing people. ISIS had from Iran supported ISIS people. A leader was sent to Africa, and they've been going around executing Christians. What they will do, they'll make the Christians dig their own grave. They'll make them stand in the grave, then they'll shoot them in the head. Now America took out the ISIS leaders and the group of them that were doing that, sent there by Iran.
Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys keep bombing them in Nigeria. Let me know in the chat. That's where you can find me on social. It says U.S.-Nigeria coordinated strike against ISIS fighters. On May 17th, 2026, U.S. Africa Command, in coordination with the government of Nigeria, conducted additional kinetic strikes against ISIS in northeastern Nigeria. So we'll scroll down here before we get to the video, some details. It says, furthermore, intelligence confirmed the targets were ISIS militants.
Kurt, you're absolutely right.
Ongoing. No U.S. forces.
Kurt, you got to go back and watch the beginning
Nigerian
of this.
forces were harmed.
Or not
the
beginning, about a half an hour into
terrorists diminishes the group's capacity to plan attacks that threaten the safety and security of the U.S. and our partners. AFRICOM remains committed to leveraging specialized U.S. capabilities in support of our partners to defeat shared security threats. So
that's the issue. That's the issue,
We are ramping up operations in Nigeria. Africa has become a stronghold for ISIS and a variety of other terrorist organizations. We are now going in and we are making it a priority to hit those terrorist organizations, hit those terrorist targets, wipe them out, take them out of the ball game. We're taking those cards off the table, and we're not going to be nice about how we do it. So I'm going to put this up on the screen right now for you all.
Hey, Kurt.
So right here, this is, again, same thing. The strike happened on May 17th, was made public today. So I'm going to rewind this. So right here, you can see multiple militants. They are running. And then right there, the bomb comes in. Right there.
Yeah, blown up real good.
The missile strike comes in. I loved it.
I feel no sympathy for that. They were taking hundreds of Christians in Africa, making them dig their own graves and shooting them in the head and burying them.
They are sprinting, running away as fast as they can, but it makes absolutely no difference. So those are multiple ISIS militants, ISIS fighters hit with warheads on foreheads, taking them out of the fight and reminding the terrorists that we will not let anyone threaten what we do. Now, some more details from Sean Parnell, who is the assistant to the Secretary of War for Public Affairs and the chief Pentagon spokesman, said ISIS terrorists thought hiding away in remote parts of Africa would help them evade justice. They were wrong. Those who hurt Americans, plan to hurt Americans, or concoct despicable plots to harm innocent Christians, the United States will find you and will kill you. And I love that phrasing there. I love that wording. We need to let the bad guys know that if you threaten America,
it's safer, John, doing it that way. It's safer taking them out that way than hand-to-hand combat and all that kind of stuff. Actually, though, the warthog coming in there, that'll work better.
Americans, if you kill Americans,
now we're working on laser technology where it will cost about $1 per shot or something like that.
Harm Americans, there is nowhere on this planet that you will be able to hide. There is nowhere on this planet where you
give it about 2 more years and they'll have that perfected. They've used it already some, but it's not perfected yet.
We'll have safe refuge. We will hunt you down no matter where you are, and we will eliminate that threat, because that's why we have the greatest military on the planet, bar none. No other military on the planet can do what we can do, and now we are putting that military use to smash ISIS. Now,
Kirk, go back about 45 minutes to an hour into the front of the video later and watch it. That part's very good.
We got some new details on the previous strike. So for those of you who hadn't seen the strike, this was released on May 16th. The strike went down on May 15th. It killed Abu Bilal al-Miniq, and he was the number 2 leader of ISIS globally. He ran all of ISIS's money, logistics, coordination. So this
number 2 globally. So that's a big one to take out.
This was the video. We're going to watch the video first. Then we're going to get into the new details that were released. Let's roll the tape. So you can see gunfire, likely from a C-130J, the Ghost Rider, or I believe they call it Spooky. If I got that wrong, let me know in the comments below. So you can see the cannons are impacting. That's what those bright right there. Now they're coming in hot, massive explosions on the ground. And then right there, boom, main compound takes a direct hit.
I hope it took out at least 100 of them.
And they are pouring the gunfire on.
Thanks, Kurt.
They're absolutely lighting them up.
It was about what was going on in England.
In brutal, brutal fashion. So this is the footage of the strike from a few days ago. And now you can see, look at the fire that is right there after the U.S. planes came in. So we actually have some new information that was released over the weekend about how al-Miniq was killed. So it says 3 U.S. officials said on Saturday that Mr. al-Miniq was killed in a helicopter-borne assault carried out by about 24 Nigerian and American Special Operations Commandos, which included members of Navy's SEAL Team 6. And I talked about this in the previous video. For those of you who don't know, SEAL Team 6, which is the Navy's Tier 1 Direct Action Hostage Rescue Unit, similar to the Army's Delta Force, right? The 2 premier Tier 1 units, love both of those units. They have a heavy presence in Africa. SEAL Team 6 has been putting in outstanding work in Africa, as well as other Tier 1 units. So when I heard this, and I heard there were Americans on the ground, my first thought was, okay, it's SEAL Team 6. If it's not SEAL Team 6, then it would be Delta Force, because SEAL Team 6 kind of has carved out this area of operation. It says the commandos attacked him and about 36 fighters on 2 small islands in Lake Chad. Lake Chad is at the intersection of 4 countries, including Nigeria. Heavy fighting ensued over a nearly 3-hour battle. The U.S. military sought to capture Mr. al-Miniq, but when it became clear he would not surrender.
Capture him for what? He's got to go get his virgins, his goat virgins, the 72 goat virgins.
The Americans killed him with an airstrike rather than risk letting him escape, said one of the officials, all whom spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss operational matters. No Americans or Nigerian casualties were reported. So what happened is SEAL Team 6 went in, massive gunfight unfolds, 3 hours of fighting on the ground on these 2 little islands, bullets flying in all directions. And then ultimately, instead of risking him escaping in the intense combat, maybe risking casualties, we don't know the exact calculus, SEAL Team 6 backs off. They then bring in the air power. The air power flattens the target area, making sure that we get the bad guy, making sure the bad guy could not escape. So I'm going to pull this down off the screen.
Saved a lot of other lives that way.
Right now. So as of me filming this on May 18th, we now have footage of another strike in Nigeria targeting ISIS terrorists. My guess will be you will see these strikes become more.
Keeps them from spreading that way too.
More common. The Nigerian government, according to some reports, has pretty much told the United States, you have free reign, do whatever you want, go in, take care of these guys, put them out of business. So that is where we are at. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know.
Because ISIS would have taken over their government, actually. All right, here's a former J6 prisoner.
Inside Wiley East High School, where they were just passing out Qurans. The principal came out here in a hijab and helped these people, these Muslim invaders, pass Qurans out to school children. But when the Christians showed up here today, she was nowhere to be seen. She refused to acknowledge the passing out of Bibles. We are living in a two-tiered persecution where Christians are treated badly and Muslims are propped up. We need to fix this, Texas, before we lose our country.
I agree. They're trying to influence everywhere. All right, here's Karen Kennedy talking about Democrats celebrating the release of her murderers.
The Democrats are continuing to have an absolute mental, horrifying, nervous breakdown over Tina Peters being released on 1 June. As I reported on Friday, when this initial news release came about, the squishy cosplay governor Jared Polis agreed to clemency. And when I say agreed to, I am telling you, he did not have a holy moment. He did not have a come to Jesus moment. He did not get bar mitzvahed. He got the phone call. I've been saying it for a long time. If you've been watching me, I told you that he was going to have to deal with a very exasperated President Trump, he's had it. He's had it with this fool. You're not in control. You're not in charge. I told you a year ago to release Tina Peters, and she's still in there. I don't like being ignored, Jared. So, he said, I need you to make this public. I needed to go to every Facebook, X, especially X, whatever means, but it needs to be public. I need to see that you have granted this woman clemency, along with the other prisoners that you are granting clemency. She better be in that group.
She was.
So she is in the group. And of course, there are murderers in the group that actually committed crimes, that actually committed heinous fucking crimes, and they're being released early. But and the media, they're excited about that. You don't hear about that. Literally, the only thing they care about is Tina Peters, a Gold Star mother who had one son, Remington Peters, who died on active duty serving our country. She has been in prison longer than she ever should, which is more than an hour or so. Never should have been there in the first place. But that's what they're laser focused on. Axios Denver put out an article, I believe today, that headlines, Governor Jared Polis faces political pile-on after freeing Tina Peters. And they are absolutely correct. It is just one after the other after the other. Of course, all the clowns in Colorado that are not from Colorado, like Michael Bennett, Phil Weiser, even Jared Polis. None of these people are from Colorado. They're not like actual Coloradans. They did the same thing that Liz Cheney did, went to Wyoming because she couldn't get elected on the East Coast. Notice she's not back in politics, right? Because they can't get elected in their districts. So they send them to red states to pretend they're moderates. They're not moderates. These are all Marxists. Anyway, they threw her in prison. The dumb judge, who looks like a damn gay barber, threw her in prison. And they make her seem like she's the worst criminal ever in the history of the world. You should see some of the criminals that Jared Polis gave clemency to and released under the coronavirus and the pandemic. You should have seen that. Yeah, because we can't have these nice, heinous criminals that murdered 7 people. Oh, we can't have the serial killers catching the cold. What's wrong with you? Where's your humanity? So they were released. So them screeching about Tina Peters and what would amount to an administrative error. Dude, okay. I'm gonna give you an example. This is so stupid. You got Norm Eisen, Mark Elias. First of all, y'all don't live here. Stay out of the business. Mind your own business. Second of all, refer to the first one. Anyway, over here, check this out. This is Fox 29 from the 6th of January, 2022. Imagine that. Judge blasts Colorado governor for reducing truck driver's sentence by 100 years. Now, what am I talking about?
100
this
years.
Truck driver, illegal alien, by the way, back in 2022, caused a 10, 15 car pileup in the middle of winter on I-70 West heading to the mountains because he could not read, write, or speak English. So he did not see, even if he saw it, it wouldn't mean anything because he couldn't read English. It's a ramp up for trucks. When you're going down that hill at a 6% steep grade, you can't stop when you got 80,000 pounds that you're hauling, dude.
Especially if it's icy.
He would have read it. Could he have read English? And it said, you can go up the ramp that takes all the speed out of your rig. So he just kept going down the steep grade and caused a crash that killed 4 people. Because he couldn't read, write, and speak English. Honey, look at this article. These people,
what the hell is he doing here to start with? Illegally.
Immigrant rights groups and all these Hollywood celebrities, including Kim Kardashian, came out here, prison rights, prison reform. Mighty funny they don't care about prison reform when it comes to Tina Peters. She's the only one. My bad, I forgot. In the January 6th political prisoners that were treated like fucking garbage. Let me just, because that really gets under my skin. A judge who ordered a Colorado trucker, the judge ordered him to spend 110 years behind bars for killing 4 in a fiery crash, who was set to hear arguments to have the man resentenced later this month, has called out the governor, Polis, for his lack of, quote, respect in slashing the sentence by 100 years before the hearing could even take place. You heard me correctly. Jared Polis, the judge sentenced this dude to 110 years. Bitch, I don't care about your kids and your family and your country and your poor. You killed 4 people, 4 American citizens. The judge gave him 110 years. Polis took 100 years off that sentence. I think the dude's getting out pretty
soon. So he killed 4. He killed 4 people. Could have killed a lot more. Injured a lot of economic damage, and he gets out in 1 year. Shouldn't be here to start with. Deport him
shortly. Yeah. So please spare me with all the bullshit about how Democrats care about prisoners and prison justice and reform. They don't. It only concerns their chosen, the ones that they chose to focus on. And right now is Tina Peters, because she knows that Tina Peters has the cards.
She still isn't out yet.
And the deck that's going to bring down the damn house right on their freaking nasty heads.
Trying to pull something.
Free Tina Peters.
Yep. I think I got time enough for 2 little short ones. Here we go.
Whoopi Goldberg and Sonny. Now somebody's supposed to shoot me now because I want to vote. Why? That was the Democrats back in the days, remember? If any black person wanted to vote for Republican, they got their fucking house burned. They got hanged from trees. Remember that? They had to run from their damn community. You don't remember that? Look at Lake Lanier. Go read up on Lake Lanier. That was the Democrats that tore up that city. That's my family city. Huntsville, Georgia. Oscarville, Georgia. Oh, I remember it, honey. My grandmother told it all, honey. It was the Democrats that didn't want no black people to vote for Republicans, and they came out with the triple Ks to fear us for voting for Republicans. And now you want to sit there on that show talk about they going to shoot at me if I vote? Who? The Democrat Party? Because you must be talking about them. Because they the only ones that do that shit. The only ones. And Hakeem Jeffrey, shut up. The Democrat Party is done. It's over. Stick a fork in it. You're finished. There will be no more power in your hands. Only one y'all worrying about is non-American people. That's it. And we all woke up already. We all woke up. Y'all bitches sitting there, millionaires, and talking about you depressed, oppressed. How the fuck are you oppressed? Shut up. It's over. I'm sick of you. Always lying. And some of you black folks always fucking listen to this dumb shit instead of doing your own research. They are lying. Ain't nobody gonna shoot you if you vote. If they do it, it's gonna be the Democrat Party like they did my family out there in Oscarville, Georgia. And we still ain't get our land back. Shut the hell up. You're finished.
Amen. All right, I'm going to end it there. Colin, a lot of you, I uploaded it to Wimpkin, and I shared it to your pages. If you don't see it there, go to my page. You'll find that video, okay? Take care, everyone. God bless. Thanks for hanging out. I know I played that one part, and I was talking during it, so I replayed that other part again. All right? Take care. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Bye-bye.